Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Need a roof? Call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and On Fire Athletes, the platform powered by GameCoin. All of our great sponsors linked in the description on YouTube and tagged on Facebook. Thank you all so much for being here with us. Baseball Tigers get a run rule win over Nicholls 13-3. Started off not so awesome as William Schmidt got the start. Gave up back-to-back singles to start the game. Got a big strikeout, then his defense let him down. Error on Tanner Reeves at third. Bases were loaded with one out. Got a sac fly, and then a ground out. So got out of it, but limiting the damage. Would have been out of it without allowing a run, but for the error by Reeves at third. Reeves would be lifted for Braswell later in the game. So second consecutive game that Reeves started for Braswell. Braswell went in there, solid at third, got a base knock as well, which was good to see. So part of the story there. Bear Jones, bases empty, 2 out. They pitched around him the first AB, walked him on 4 pitches. Next AB, they pitched to him, hit a homer. Next AB, they pitched around him and walked him on 4 pitches. No. And then they pitched to him, and then he got an RBI single to right center. He's really good, man. The ability to hit for power, the ability to control the bat has been so impressive. And then obviously his patience as well. Bear Jones has been really fun to watch. Milam had a 3-run blast. Fun game. It was a fun game. Watch the Tigers get out there and play a little bit. So they'll travel today, and then they'll play tomorrow in Arlington against Dallas Baptist, ranked opponent for the first time this year. And then, of course, basketball plays tonight against Tennessee, 8 o'clock, late tip. But another top 10 team in the Maravich Center. See how they fare. They are giving away pretty sweet Mardi Gras jerseys to the first 1,000 students. I don't know if you all saw that. Not bad. All right, y'all smash that like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. We get rolling here. Fire away. Questions, comments, you know the drill. Hey, Ryan, good morning. LSU has a catcher problem. This year reminded me of how important Alex Milazzo was to a team. Look, man, I banged that drum for 4 years, and I got criticized a lot for it because a lot of people loved Travinsky, and I did too. Travinsky was a really good power bat, great team guy, and killer mustache. But yeah, man. I mean, Milazzo was an elite defensive catcher, and you see the value of that sometimes. I mean, Schmidt had 3 consecutive wild pitches, which allowed the second run to score. And the third of them is one that I look at and I go, man, you got to catch that ball. Like, runner on third, you got to get your body in front of that ball. And pitcher has got to feel confident in throwing his off-speed stuff in the dirt. Because it doesn't matter how good your curveball is. If you throw it for a strike every time, they're gonna look for the spin. They're gonna hit it. So, I don't know, man. That was Aaron Beatty. Aaron Beatty got lifted. They put Hernandez in. I think you're starting to see some separation there, probably. Hey, Gorilla. Good morning. Please forgive my absence. No worries, man. Glad to have you here whenever you can be here. Hey, Brian. Good morning from Kentwood, Michigan. Thought Schmidt did a good job. Yeah, man. Did really well. Went 4 2/3, so he extended a little bit, which was good to see. 3 strikeouts, didn't walk anybody, which was good to see. Yeah, nice, solid day. Hey, Thomas, good morning. Hunter Broadhead, Juan, good morning. Gorilla, we're doing great, man. Thank you so much. Leon, good morning. Jeremy Sagely, good morning. Juan, after 15 years in New Orleans, moving back to Baton Rouge after Mardi Gras. It comes full circle. All right, Juan, it'll be good to have you in town, man. You know where to find us. Look forward to seeing you back. So what are you doing, man? Moving back for work? Fill us in. Give us the deets. Hey, Brett, good morning. Stephen Miller, good morning. Excuse me. Day 48, Dale. Jingle Gate, go this way. Is today 48? I love that you're keeping count, Thomas. And actually, I owe it to you for the consistency because I probably would have forgotten a bajillion times. Hey, Seth, good morning. Dale, order genetic test for your wife. Okay. Brecca is fascinating. Dale, I think I'm going to be fascinated. You don't have to tell me your results, but I'm going to be curious to know. Mine were pretty jarring. And, necessitated change. And I made those changes, and it's made a world of difference in my life. So good luck, man. Hey, Patrick, good morning. Bill Mulligan, ready for some spring weather. Me too, man. I'm ready for crawfish boils and cold beer and spring days, getting closer to pool season. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that too. Hey, Brian, good morning. Josh Blackman, good morning. Which one of the catchers do you think will step up defensively? I don't think any of them have been impressive. Just that's kind of the problem, right? So if you don't have one guy that's got a skill set that's allowed him to elevate over the other, I think you look at Hernandez, who's just a more veteran player. I mean, Hernandez has 600 career collegiate at bats. So, we had 2 doubles over the weekend. He's got 3 doubles on the season. Just showing he can handle the bat a little better at this level right now than Aaron Beatty. And I think he's probably a little more poised behind the plate. So I'll continue to say, man, Aaron Beatty probably has the higher ceiling long term, but Hernandez looks like the better option right now. Hey, Thomas, good football news on Locked On. Thank you. The one kid from Catholic didn't do so well last night. You talking about William Schmidt? I think I'm not trying to be hypercritical here, Thomas, but if you're talking about William Schmidt, who started the game, pitcher who started, I think we have to start to calibrate a little bit, like expectations. Not everyone is Paul Skeens. Okay. William Schmidt is 18 years old, making his first ever collegiate start. He goes up there and starts the game by giving up single. With 2 on, nobody out, gets a strikeout, big pitch. Then he gets a ground ball to third, and Tanner Reeves boots it. So you should have had runners at the corners with 2 outs, and then the next AB, he got a fly ball, it would have been out of it. Instead, Reeves boots it. He gets the fly ball for a sac fly and then gets a ground ball out. Pretty good job pitching around it. Then he cruised in the second and the third. The third inning was 8 pitches. I'm sorry, second, third, and fourth he cruised. In the third inning, he needed 8 pitches to get through it. Then he goes out there in the fifth and trying to remember how the fifth started. Braswell went into third in the fifth. So he starts, here it is. He goes strikeout, single, and then that's when they had the 3 wild pitches. Then he gets the fly out. So, I mean, and then they lifted him to go lefty with Primo. So he allowed 3 softly hit singles, struck out 3, didn't walk anybody, danced around damage in the first. And the only reason the second run scored was because of 3 straight wild pitches. And I put a lot of that on the catcher. So, man, if you think that struggle, a true freshman making his first start ever goes out there and gives you 4 2/3 of 2-run baseball. And of course, he could have finished the inning, but they wanted to go lefty and get Primo in on that spot. He threw 60 pitches. Of his 60 pitches, I believe 46 were strikes. That's in the live stats. Anyway, man, true freshman, didn't walk anybody, filled up the strike zone, allowed 3 weak singles, struck out 3. I don't know what you want, man. I mean, the other team's trying too. Team score runs in baseball. I mean, I'll take that. I'll take that start. Patrick, also, how about St. John's under Patino taking the nation by storm? No pun intended. Becoming a bandwagon fan. Patino's awesome. All he does is win everywhere he's been, man. Sean, good morning. Son is playing for his basketball championship tonight. It'd be better than watching LSU and the Vols. Yeah. Well, watching your son play, no doubt, would be better no matter what. But yes, that will probably be better. Leon, hey, I'm going to miss the DBU game. Probably the Frisco games on person due to my kids' baseball. Any streaming options? Cagenomics. As everyone here will tell you. So, yes, I probably shouldn't say it out loud because the bots are probably scanning us here to make sure. But, yes, there is a YouTube channel, Cagenomics, that you should become familiar with. And this is the time of year where he is everyone's friend, whoever Cagenomics is. Trivia Carter, good morning. Brad David, good morning. Jeff, good morning. Melody, good morning. Tyga Poppy, good morning. Gamorgan, as they say. Robbie, good morning. Do you think Brandon Staley will be another Dennis Allen? Great defensive coordinator, not head coach material. Maybe. I think there's a pretty good shot of that. He was interesting, too, because, he had some early success with the Chargers. But, boy, their inability to manage close games and his inability, his poor game and clock management, cost them. So there's probably truth to that. Now, he was the DC with the Rams, and they were awesome with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and Leonard Floyd. Now, he ain't going to have nobody like that on this Saints defense, at least not yet anyway. But yeah, I mean, I think there's some truth to that. All right, here you go.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
Okay. Parish Construction and Roofing. Of course, if you need orthopedists, you go to Brock. Locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. If you need a roof, give us a shout. Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to ParishBuilt.com. Unique Physique, UniquePhysique.com. Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com. With Unique Physique, remember semaglutide, tirzepatide, the once-a-week injections for weight loss, the GLP-1 medications, lowest prices, never any contracts, do the whole thing over telemed, and they'll ship your medicine anywhere in the country. So if you're watching, wherever you're watching, you could still use Unique Physique. And if you got pain, book a session with Crystal Poche. You'll be glad you did. RestoredMotions.com. Hey, Cody, good morning. Pumped up for a week of baseball in DFW. Grabbing ticks for the games in Norman. Very cool. A little jealous. Mojo, morning from foggy Brooksville, Florida. All right, Mojo. Julian laid $1,000 on Nuss to win the Heisman. Let's go. If they win, hey, Julian, here's what I recommend. If you think LSU will beat Clemson, then place that bet now. If you think LSU might lose to Clemson and you want to take that shot, wait on that bet, because if LSU loses to Clemson, Nuss will get longer odds, and so you get an even better price. Thomas, good morning. Nice step up in competition this week. Excited to see how the pitching staff handles some better offenses. Yeah, I mean, by the way, for everyone who's asked, Jay Johnson did address it last night. Gavin Guidry is dealing with a non-throwing injury. So that explains why we haven't seen him yet. But yeah, I think Connor Ware will go tomorrow. Hey, Brett, good morning. Can you explain the difference between on the ball and off the ball linebacker? Well, an off-ball linebacker is effectively an inside backer, right? So you're just playing off the ball. as opposed to playing up near the line of scrimmage. Like you'll see sometimes with your outside linebackers who play more of that hybrid role, can step up to the line of scrimmage like a stand-up end almost, so to speak. But off the ball are your linebackers playing like they're playing right off the ball on the inside. Traditional 4-3, you'd have the Mike, the Will, and the Sam, right? Middle, weak, and strong. So much of defense has become these hybrid positions all over, which is interesting. Basketball is actually very similar as well, because you have so many guys that are physically gifted enough to play multiple spots. So you have stretch fours, these forwards that can go bang on the blocks but can step back and shoot threes. So in some ways it's almost like positionless football, like positionless basketball. But basically when you say an off-ball linebacker, it's an inside linebacker, like a traditional inside linebacker. Hey, Rocky, good morning. Rex, good morning. Thomas, paying you back for my parish headgear. Oh, for reminding me of all the jingles. Thank you. Steven said on the call, Schmidt had a 60 pitch limit. Jay kept it strict, pulled him right at 60. I kind of think he may have been just trying too hard, knowing he was about to get pulled. With the wild pitches, maybe. Yeah, look, he was right at 60, and it also made sense that in that moment they brought in Primo to go lefty. But yeah, so it worked, right? If he was pulling him at 60. Okay, Thomas. Thank you. I was about to say, dude. Okay. That makes way more sense. Okay. One of the pitchers from Nicholls pitched to Catholic and did have a little bit. I think that was McGibney, who gave up 5 runs on 6 hits. He also had a couple of weird wild pitches one time where his leg slipped out from underneath him and he kind of threw it to the backstop. But anyway, okay, that makes way more sense, Thomas. I was about to say, if you were talking about Schmidt having a rough day, I'm like, man, what are we expecting from this kid? Okay, that makes me feel so much better. All right. Whew. Hey, Kelly, good morning. Hey, Dad, good morning. Robbie, Matt, would you be disappointed if the Saints drafted Jackson Dart in the first round? Yes. Ryan DeLon, where's Guidry? Non-throwing injury. Back to Robbie. I would be disappointed if they took Jackson Dart in the first round. If you decide to take Jackson Dart in round 3, if he's there, okay. Hard to imagine Dart moving all the way up into round 1. But we'll see. But short answer to your question is, I don't think Jackson Dart's a franchise quarterback. I would not take him with the 9th pick of the draft. Who dat? Good morning. Brad David, why do you think Oklahoma agreed to play at Temple in football next year? I have no idea. Temple's not a Power 4, so it doesn't satisfy that requirement. Maybe it's a 2-for-1 they signed. I really don't know. If that had been signed for a long time, a lot of times you'll see teams do that, a 2-for-1. Like, you come to our place twice, we'll go to your place once. Temple is in Philly. Pennsylvania tends to be a pretty good football state. Maybe recruiting. It's a lot about Oklahoma that I'm still learning about their program. Seth Schmidt is going to be a weekend guy soon. But it'd be interesting if he ends up a weekend guy this year, because if he does end up in the rotation, that means somebody faltered. And really would hate to see that. But William Schmidt's going to be great. Jason H., good morning. Cliff, good morning. C-Mac, maybe talking about. Okay, yeah. So we established. I'm glad for the clarification too. Whew. Melody, the strikes 2, I guess that's balls this year. Super encouraging thus far, knowing it isn't SEC yet. Last year, far worse issue against similar competition. Walks last year were a problem. Remember, LSU played a 4-game opening weekend series last year, the round robin, and they walked 22 hitters in those 4 games. I don't think they've walked half that this year. Let's see. Tell you right now. So far on the season, LSU has walked 17 hitters. LSU's walked 17 through 8 games. Again, last year through 4 games, they had walked 22. So for perspective, yes, absolutely. The command has been much better. Hey, Robbie, let's see. Would you like to see another World Series rematch, Dodgers-Yankees? Sure. I'd love to see my team in the World Series. Hard to imagine anybody beating the Dodgers, but it's funny, for as much as the Yankees get pegged as the team that just buys rosters and all that stuff. Dodgers, Mets, Red Sox, Cubs. I'm never going to mention them. But yeah, I'd love to see my team in the World Series. Steven, first inning, Nicholls was sitting dead red fastball, made adjustment in the second and third, going curve change, threw him off. That's definitely not your typical freshman first start ever. Yeah. So, Steven, thankfully, we did get the clarification that we were talking about the Nicholls pitcher. But, man, I'll be honest, man, y'all, if I had to sit here and defend William Schmidt's outing last night, I would have been like, man, what are we doing here? So very, very, very glad to see that that's not what we're talking about. Hey, Mark, good morning. Yeah, the Pelicans do host the Spurs. Carlo's been good, man. But I'll tell you this. One thing that might be significant about tonight to keep an eye on, and I know the Pelicans stink and nobody's watching them. Chris Paul, who now is with the Spurs, if you haven't been keeping up. This may be, if Chris Paul retires after this season, this may be his last time ever playing in New Orleans. And man, I'd really like to see Chris Paul get a deserved ovation in New Orleans. I don't know that it's going to happen, but and Chris Paul may play another season. He's 39. So it may not be the last time, but could be. Christian, what up, man? Good morning. Shout out to Cajunomics. Real ones know. Yes. Call of Duty. Yes, that's who I'm talking about. Yes. Juan, the wife's job is taking me back to BR if you ever need surgery. Okay. Is she a surgeon, Juan? What type of surgery does she perform? I mean, shout out to you. If you married a surgeon. Juan, I don't think you and I have ever talked about what you do. I know you travel all over the place. But shoot, Juan, if I'm not mistaken, Juan, you've been like, I remember you calling Condon Show back in like 07, 8, 9 in that range. Juan's a real one. Been around for a minute. Cliff, can we give some love to the Fighting Beth Torinos? Can we first start by calling them the Fighting Beth Torinas? Beth Torina, not Torino. And yeah, man, undefeated. Great start to the season. Y'all know how I feel about Beth. Love her. Probably my favorite coach on LSU's campus. I desperately want Beth to win a national championship in softball at LSU. I hope she coaches the rest of her career at LSU. And I know we don't talk a lot of softball in AFR. And someone actually asked me that question yesterday on the text lines or on emails. Like, why don't you ever talk about the softball team? It's like, well, for the same reason I don't talk about the UFC, which I love, or track and field, which wins national championships all the time, and other sports that are really good. It's an old radio line that you play the hits, and so you have to talk about what's going to be the most interesting thing to the most amount of people. It's why when you turn on ESPN, you're always talking about Cowboys, Lakers, Jets. I mean, they're they're Yankees, Red Sox. I mean, they're trying to hit the mass appeal. So it's no different. We're also on a smaller scale. So we talk LSU football and the Saints, and right now LSU baseball obviously is super popular. And if the women's basketball team goes on a run in the postseason, we're going to talk about them because everyone's going to be paying attention. So, yeah, it's tough, man. Like you just don't. You do the best you can. So anyway, Thomas heard Rance mention something about Guidry being injured. Yeah. Every show, every day, every format, people have been asking about Guidry. But yeah, Jay said after the game last night that Gavin has a non-throwing injury so he'll be out, week or so. Hey, Bailey, good morning. Brett, good morning. I take Schmidt's line every Sunday in conference. Can't wait to see him physically mature into the body. Think about how unfair, true, but think about unfair it is to Chase Shores as your game 3 guy. Crazy. Hey, Michael Thacker, good morning. 4th work education trip in the last 6 weeks to New York City coming up this weekend. At first, very fun, now exhausting. I appreciate the recommendation. You got it, man. Yeah, let me know if you're finding any new ones too, man. Hey, Brett, good morning. Steven, yep, there you go. Thomas, 48, there you go. Pat, good morning. Trivia, why am I getting ads in the middle of a live? Let me check on that. Is that happening to anybody else? I'm curious because people have been saying the same thing about the 104.5 ESPN channel. And I thought I fixed that, but I'll keep checking. Carrie, what do you think about the Mardi Gras jerseys for the first 1,000 students? I don't mind the concept at all. My thing on uniforms has always been, while I am a traditionalist, sorry. What was I saying? I read Craig's comments. Congrats to Mr. The Right. Netflix picked up his heroic story. Is currently filming Into the Blaze. Danny DeVito. Terrio put out a fire guarantee on Friday. Like, legitimately, someone flicked a cigarette into some mulch around our sign, the big 50-foot sign with all the station logos, and the whole thing caught on fire. Terrio ran in the building, grabbed a fire extinguisher, went and put it out before the fire department even got there. It was crazy. Anyway, all right, I got to go. What were we talking about? Oh, the jerseys. I don't mind the concepts of the jerseys. I don't love the font of the numeral. I also think the green they used behind the numeral is kind of odd. Looks almost like a teal, but I love the concept, and I would love one of the jerseys. Okay, I got to go. Y'all have an awesome day. Sponsors linked in the description on YouTube, tagged on Facebook. Thanks so much for being here. Locked on LSU is live. We had our baseball post game and our regular Locked On show, so please check out both of them, and we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow 3. We'll see you for AFR at